Market structure is a way to organize market-related ideas. There are three most common aspects of market structure, which are product differentiation, entry conditions, and the number, size, and distribution of sellers or consumers. It actualizes equal opportunities on competition and involves environmental factors that can impact company decisions. The market structure has three interconnected parts, which are the general environment or institutional setting, the economic basic condition, and the specific environment. Market structures include perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. We will be discussing on oligopoly and monopoly. Under oligopoly, we have chose AirAsia-Berhad, and under monopoly, we have chose Tenaga Nasional Berhad. Oligopoly is described as a few sellers. An oligopoly is an industry consisting of a few firms or a small number of major firms. Changes in price and output will likely to affect the earnings and output of the competing firms. Its action will influence its rivals. The firm will employ a non-price competition like customer care, advertising, or free gifts. The prices tend to be fairly sticky, like if the firm decreases pricing, its competing firm will make the same price drop. Then all firms will have lower earnings. Hence, the prices will stay reasonably consistent and higher than they would be in the totally competitive scenario. Monopoly consists of only a single supplier of an item for which there are no close substitutes. Any change in supply plans of that seller can have a major effect of the market price, which is why a monopolist is termed as a price maker. The possibility of acquiring a similar or identical goods may not be achievable, therefore the elasticity of demand is rather inelastic. A monopolist conducts price discrimination to increase profits and also fix the price of a commodity higher than the cost of manufacturing, as they have ultimate control over price determination. AirAsia-Berhad has all of the oligopoly characteristics. It is a highly recognized airline corporation located in Malaysia which offers low-cost flights. It is the largest airline in Asia and has been awarded the world's best low-cost airline in 2009 and 2010. The firm was created in 1993 and started operating in 1996. However, in December 2001, the firm almost folded down as they held a debt of USD 11 million. Then acquired and taken over by TNB and Berhad under Tony Fernandez. TNB is the largest electricity utility firm in Malaysia and a leading utility company in Asia. In 2021, TNB employed over 35,000 of employees in Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah, and Labuan. TNB holds a series of power plants all over the country. Their consumer base has expanded to approximately 9.2 million, which includes industrial, commercial, and residential consumers. Their industrial consumers engage in manufacture of goods and service, accounting for most of TNB's electricity sales. The commercial customers are their second largest source of electricity sales, carrying out the business and commercial activities which drive Malaysia's economy, and residential customers represent the majority of Malaysia's 31.7 million population. Thank you.
Now we move to the next part, which is part number 2, comparison of oligopoly and monopoly company. Number 1, number and size of firms. Based on the TNB annual report 2021, the revenue they get is 0.052 billion ringgit Malaysia and the total asset is 0.182 billion ringgit Malaysia. While the AirAsia annual report 2020, the revenue is 1.2 billion ringgit Malaysia and the total asset is 2.4 billion ringgit Malaysia. Number 2 is consumer demand. TNB is a significant investment for educational purpose and also an indicator that electricity is important in human life. There is also the key role of the nation in pursuing the new technology and help the industrial consumer such as the commercial enterprises, governmental agencies, institutions, and cooperative societies to enjoy the lower rates of the services provided. AirAsia services for customer needs are quite popular in Malaysia. This is because the price that they are set is reasonable and affordable. With this, people can easily draft their preferred travel by searching the services on the website, plus with the technology nowadays, by order their tickets online. Next point is government intervention. This is shown where TNB let the government decide to maintain their imbalanced cost base through ICPT rebate of 2 cents kilowatt hour for all customers, including domestic users with monthly electricity consumption on 300 kilowatt hour and below. AirAsia also include government intervention to ensure worker duty and society safety, especially when the travel restriction was announced by the Malaysian government around the early year of 2020. This will aim to minimize the impact on the employees because of the COVID-19 wave that took place at that time.
Another comparison of oligopoly and monopoly company is their nature of products. Tenaga Nasional Berhad is one of the important necessities for all settlements in Malaysia because they supply electricity throughout Malaysia except for Sarawak. Their main business is energy generation, transmission and distribution. As for AirAsia, they do service-based firm, which is offering services such as air travel, travel and leisure goods, as well as financial services. Next, barriers to entry and exit. Because of high initial expenses, only a few firms seek to enter both of the market. This eliminates any prospective competitors right away. Both of these companies are hard to withdraw from their businesses because of high exit costs such as property check and closing charges. And the last one is long-run economic profit. In the long run, having large entry barriers prevents companies from entering the market in the context of a monopolistic market system, which is the TNB. Consequently, TNB could be able to stay out of the competition while sustaining long-term financial success. In an oligopoly market, there is a chance for long-term economic profit. Long-term profitability is quite high for oligopolies like AirAsia. Additionally, sideline enterprises are prevented from entering the market by high entry barriers.
Next is SWOT analysis for Tenaga Nasional Berhad. Range for TNB is cannot be underestimated as the single provider of electricity and the monopoly organization, and its power plants are technologically advanced, stable, and efficient. This component is significant since it is a leading producer of electricity in Malaysia and hence is supported by the government and its policy. TNB integrated business portfolio is another factor that contribute to its leadership. TNB supplies everything from energy to most of its ancillary products and services, such as production, technology consulting, water electric construction support, and repair and maintenance service. Next, weakness. Meanwhile, TNB flaws cannot be overlooked. TNB weakness are its reliance mainly on the Malaysian market and its low return on equality due to economies of scale and scope. Despite having a robust portfolio and being the monopoly in Malaysia, it is not active regionally and relies solely on Malaysia for revenue. Because of the limited volume and breadth coverage, this has an influence on the return on equality. In other regions of Southeast Asia, it's like the power it will in Malaysia as the market leader and monopoly organization. Aside from that, the TNB day-to-day operation generates significant volume in greenhouse gas emission. For opportunities, the term opportunities refers to the possibility for an organization to grow and improve its service. TNB hopes to create some permanent job through its rural electrification program. By creating job possibilities, the TNB is indirectly assisting those rural people who do not have a job, such as working in the area where the project is being implemented, making it easier for the TNB to respond if there is a crisis in a rural area. Furthermore, there are prospects for technology transfer to local plant component manufacture, particularly indigenous Bumiputra. This will help Bumiputra manufacturer improve their competitive and capabilities. Last, for trade. Trade are described as hurdles that an organization has faced as a result of external circumstances. Like lightning activity has posed a threat to the TNB rural electrification program. This is due to the fact that Malaysia has the world's highest lightning activity. As a result, lightning strike can harm electric components, especially in hybrid system. This will result in a large cost to repay the harm that has occurred. For strength, AirAsia primary strength has been noted as reduced operational costs. One of the contributing factors to their low operation cost is their basic company practice. According to Tony Fernandez, focusing on a single aircraft has helped them to standardize training for pilot, cabin crew, engineers, and other operational personnel. Apart from that, because fuel account for 40% of AirAsia expenses, the airline has implemented an innovative strategy to cut fuel consumption by redesigning its flight operation and implementing one engine producer before landing and after takeoff. This has saved approximately 182 liters of fuel every flight. Another advantages is the inexpensive fare offer to customer. AirAsia's ability to give passenger with inexpensive flight ticket is due to its minimal operational cost and new low-cost carrier model. The low-cost carrier model are built on the idea of keeping things as simple as possible. For weakness, then there are AirAsia flaws. As impressive as AirAsia qualities are, the airline nevertheless has significant flaws that need to be addressed. First and foremost, because of the cheap cost of airline ticket, there is restriction service resource. As previously stated, AirAsia has eliminated all frill service, including self-check-in, in order to save money. Although this is done to save money, it has created problem for the elderly who has maybe less technology advanced. This may prompt some customer to go to mass, which offer all of this service. AirAsia's second issue is that it has received several customer complaints regarding its service. Flight dealers being overcharged and not being allowed to residual ticket or receive a refund if customers are unable to attend are just a few examples. Customers are an organization key source of revenue, especially when it comes to service. Therefore, AirAsia must prioritize them. Maintaining a high level of customer service is critical in today's competitive environment. When a customer is dissatisfied with the service offered to them, it can destroy the company brand name while also projecting a poor and unwanted picture not to just one several customer. When negative feedback from dissatisfied customer is acknowledged and influenced, it is critical for AirAsia to take customer complaints seriously and use them to enhance their service. Next, for opportunities, AirAsia also have ancillary earning, which are income collected by airline for service such as food, additional legroom, and checkback. Ancillary revenue are expected to be in range $50 until $55 billion per year, above the airline industry 11-year average annual operating profit of $33 billion. As a result, the absence of ancillary revenue would result in a loss of profit for the industry. Last is trade. Government laws and regulation are the final threat to AirAsia. As previously stated, all industry, including the airline businesses, are subject to government rules to regulation regardless of their location. When they arrive in another country, they must follow its norm and regulation. Charges such as departure charges and the security charges, for example, are outside the airline control. This is significant danger, particularly to low-cost carrier like AirAsia, where keeping costs low is a primary priority. User perception that low-cost airline may jeopardize their safety. In order to keep costs down in other source of concern for AirAsia.
I will continue the part of impacts COVID-19 on selected market. The impacts of COVID-19 to oligopoly of AirAsia Berhad is the number of passengers or customers has reduced dramatically for a variety of reasons. As a result, since the onset of COVID-19 until now, traveling has never been easy. Furthermore, because of this pandemic, AirAsia forced to lay off personnel. It was extremely difficult to make this decision, but it was necessary to save the company from going bankrupt. Last but not least, this pandemic had a significant impact on the aviation sector, particularly AirAsia in Malaysia. In an oligopolistic market, AirAsia only have a few places to operate in Malaysia, and because the pandemic reduced their revenue, they were forced to reduce their counter and cargo department staff. The impacts of COVID-19 on TNB in monopolistic competition market in Malaysia is an increase in energy consumption. Energy is a vital component of all economic activity, and when business suffers, as it does during vacations, demand for energy consumption suffers as well. Next, the main difference this time is that the shock was less severe than a regular economic downturn, and it affected oil consumption far more than electricity usage. Because the Malaysian economy is increasingly oriented on services, an impact to the power industry because of the MCO would be less severe than it would have been a few years ago.
In conclusion, market structures have a very crucial role for a firm. The characteristics that divide the different types of market structures can be a guide on whether or not a startup firm will be able to become successful or not. It is by knowing the market structure that the selected firms such as AirAsia, Berhad, and TNB Malaysia have been able to become so successful. Thank you.